Flight Lieutenant Alex Stewart. So I'm here with 31 Squadron from the Royal Air Force, and we form up part of the Tornado detachment here, which is a jet that you can just see behind me. So on Sunday, we managed to complete a row-a-thon, which is something we've been planning for a couple of weeks, and set out to do 100 kilometres rowing within 12 hours was my initial aim on a rowing machine. The idea behind that was to raise some money for charity and at the same time raise some money for a campaign of rowing the Atlantic Ocean that we're trying to do. One of my key aims or hopes was that I'd managed to crack one of the Guinness Book of Records as well, and as of yet we've yet to hear if there is a result on that, but it's certainly been in the process of being submitted. So on Sunday it turned up at 8 o'clock in the morning on the boardwalk at RF Kandahar, and it pre-planned kind of everything, so all the equipment was set up in place with posters and a bit of publicity done as well. Started at 8 o'clock in the morning and finished at 8 PM in the evening, and the idea was to get the 100 kilometres within those 12 hours. I had some amazing support from the rest of the guys on the squadron who did some excellent kind of fundraising, shaking buckets, just getting people interested and answering people's questions, because clearly I was a little bit out of breath at the time. Help for Heroes is a UK-based charity which essentially helps soldiers who have been unfortunate enough to be injured in combat. It was started initially by a couple in the UK, and the charity has grown massively. Now it hosts things like Help for Heroes rugby tournaments, massive concerts and stuff like that. They have tied in record deals with people like Simon Cowell, who have Pop Idol and that kind of genre of programs, will release singles for the UK charity. Cheers.
Gents, before you guys go, can I give a big QR, my man Al down here? Oh!
Cheers guys. For me, our job out here really does tie into the charity a lot. Our job is to fly around and protect the guys on the ground. We can't always do that. It's not possible to protect everybody that's out there, and so sadly some guys are injured and go back with these injuries. And Help for Heroes is a brilliant UK charity that picks up these guys and helps them along their way when other people may not be able to. And I just think it's an excellent cause, and a few quid spent here and there is well worth it for the guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks. All right, take care.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Yes.
Yeah, at least there's a little breeze blowing. And you're in the shade. That was nice of you to put in the shade. Yeah.
Coming back 2 PM, we're going to put him out in the sun.
So far, each 10 kilometres has been taking me about 45 minutes, and that's starting to naturally get a little bit longer now. But if I can maintain this pace, I think I should be able to crack 100 before 12 hours, and then I can keep going. But my arms are killing me. My arms and my shoulders.
Al came up with the idea of the one man, one machine, 100 kilometres. It's part of a wider squadron push to raise £31,000 for the squadron to row, cycle or run 31,000 miles. And this will go towards Al's total in that squadron push to make 31,000 miles. I'm Flight Lieutenant John Pingree. I'm on 31 Squadron, the Gold Stars, and I'm a Tornado navigator. 12 hours is quite a long time to row, so Al came up with the idea of having a second rowing machine next to him, so friends, colleagues and well-wishers can join in and just help him row, keep him going for the 12 hours. So I've been on a couple of times to row in body armour, just to increase the profile of what we're doing out here, to try and gain more sponsorship. Good luck, Al, keep going. Only 7 more hours to go.
Rowing for 12 hours is pretty painful actually. Do 126 kilometres, I think, well basically you do about 10 metres a stroke. So it's somewhere in the region of 12,600 strokes to achieve that. The inspiration for the row-a-thon came really when I was trying to figure of ways of gaining more money, or trying to gain more money towards a campaign we've got for an Atlantic rowing race. Myself and my best friend Phil Russell from the UK are aiming to row the Atlantic Ocean, which is a massive feat for us, and it's a huge campaign that involves raising a lot of money. So the money that we've raised in doing this will benefit Help for Heroes, but initially we will tie it into the use of our rowing campaign. And there's a couple more events as well that we're going to also participate in to try and raise money. The other events that we're going to try and do include swimming the English Channel as one of them as well. So again, another endurance event for us, but something just to get us in the mental picture of something like doing the Atlantic. And we've also done the Land's End to John O'Groats bike ride, which is the across the UK bike ride. All of these events that we do try to raise money and awareness for Help for Heroes, and then essentially we put all the money into a pot, do the rowing campaign, and then the money that we raise afterwards and during the campaign goes towards Help for Heroes. Going 375 in about 500 metres, and it's going alright, but I'm starting to cramp up and it's getting really hot. So I'm going to empty this over in a second. I may have been the only one kind of rowing the kind of key distance, but I had other people on rowing machines next to me, including guys that had never rowed before, some guys that had done a lot. We had Padres down there helping us out, we had American troops helping us. There was a really good kind of team bond, and if it wasn't for the guys on my squadron, there's no way that we would have been able to raise that money. So the guys on the squadron all pitched in, and really that is kind of tantamount to what you'll see from our squadron all the time. You always get the guys pulling together to help each other out, be it in a work scenario or an out of work scenario involving like charity fundraising. Outside of work, aside from charity, you know, we often chill out and hang out together as well. And this is what being in the Air Force, or certainly on 31 Squadron, is like to a large extent. And you just get a great kind of family unit. We've got like a really good team, and everyone just settles down, and you know, it's really like going away with your mates more than going away with work colleagues. So it's really good, and if anyone's thinking of joining the Air Force, I think you'd be pretty lucky if you manage to land up on a squadron like the one we got. Out in Afghanistan, the Tornado detachment really is about close air support for the UK and coalition troops on the ground, and a massive part of our job is also reconnaissance as well. So we work in close partnership with a lot of the kind of coalition troops out here, and also with the UK assets like the tactical imagery ring and all the guys involved with the engineering aspect of the Tornado and also the reconnaissance pods. So we are called upon to scramble if there is a situation developing in the area of operations where they need some close air support assets, and we launch on that on a readiness state that's dictated to us by kind of high authorities. Okay, so the Tornado GR4, you can see it behind me, is the jet that we fly in. It was designed as a bomber jet, and its role has been developed in Afghanistan over the last few years, as well as prior to coming out here, to support the troops on the ground. So it's now really, in the role we're using it today, a close air support asset. We've got very, very flexible weapons on board, which allow us to change the method in which they're delivered and change the impact and effect that they have when they strike the ground or the air. And we also have a really good targeting pod. Provides us with full motion video, which we can stream to the guys on a live link down on the ground, so they can see what we can see and they can talk us onto it.
Go, bud. Water to go. Come on. Come on now.
I did it in 10-kilometre blocks, and the first 30k was fairly comfortable actually, but very shortly after I hit 50 kilometres I ran out of my own kind of personal reserve energy, and I was then relying on stuff like protein drinks and stuff like that there.
Quarter K left.
There's a bucket right next to you to pick it all out.
200.
Come on, Alex, you got it. Come on.
Come on, Alex.
You got it.
Come on out. 100 meters.
Let's
100
go.
meters. 50.
50.
There you go.
40. 30. 20. 10.
You're done.
And I managed to hit 100 kilometres within 8 hours 55 minutes. It depends how quickly you do it, depends on how much effort you put in as well. So my aim was to, like I said, was to crack the 100k, and because I managed to do that early, I've somehow found energy from somewhere else and managed to keep going as well. Pretty big. The last kind of 10 went very slow, and then kind of when I got to the actual last kilometre, I just wanted to get it done, so I started to wind up the pace a bit. But I feel really tired. I've managed to find a lot of blisters on my hands. My arms and legs are pretty tired. My backside's absolutely killing. So I think I'm just going to try and jump back on now and complete the 12 hours and see if I can push up just a bit more, basically. So enough to keep going, basically. It's got a little bit left in the tank, I think. So it's been pretty hard. Some of the kilometres when you're going through seem to last forever, but I've got 100 done now, so I'm feeling quite good about that.
If I do, I'll be 3 marathons back.
So because I'd finished the challenge in that respect, I decided that I'd continue going because we still had just over 3 hours left, and to me that was 3 hours of fundraising. So we decided to continue, and I've pressed on for the 12 hours.
I'm here with Flight Lieutenant Alex Stewart, who's just completed his Desert Row-a-thon. He's managed to row 100 kilometres well within the time that he'd set of 12 hours, and he's now carrying on. How are you feeling at this moment, Alex?
Pretty destroyed, actually. I've just got back on to do some more rowing, and I've realised that I can't make a whole stroke at the moment because my legs kind of cramp up. So I'm pretty chuffed about hitting 100k, and now I just want to see what I can do in the next kind of 2.25 hours. I just figure the longer I stay here, then the more money we can raise for Help Heroes.
You must be really pleased that you've completed the 100 kilometres well within the time of 12 hours.
Yeah, I'd kind of allowed for a couple of rocket attacks, and so far we haven't had any, which is brilliant. I hope we don't get any more, because it'll just allow me to do some more. But yeah, luckily the enemy have been kind of let up on me today. They must have seen one of the posters and sent the world round. So thanks very much for that, guys.
So you're trying to aim to try and keep on rowing now until 1900. Do you think you've got the energy to continue?
Yeah, I'll be able to keep going until 1900. I'm not too kind of concerned about that. It's just what pace I can do and what miles I can actually manage to cover in the next kind of 2.25 hours. So I'll just keep pushing out now till we're actually going to 8 p.m. and we've got a lot of the girls have turned up now who are doing an event here today. So hopefully we're going to try not to detract too much from what they're doing. Sit in the corner and just see if we can raise a little bit more money.
Fantastic. Oh, actually, what's the support been like here at the boardwalk?
What's
the support been like here at the boardwalk?
Mate, it's absolutely brilliant. The squadron, all my squadron have pretty much turned up today and collected money. We got an absolute bucket loads and loads of cash. from $1 bills to $100 bills in there from some people. Some really generous people donating today, and to be honest, if I'd been out here on my own, I don't think I would have made the distance so quickly without the support, and also there's no way I would have raised probably 1/10 of the money on my own. So I'm really grateful to all the guys from the squadron today who've been here collecting money for the event all day, so it's absolutely excellent, mate.
Well, we wish you all the best for the next couple of hours, and we'll catch you at the end. That's if you've got enough energy to talk to us.
Yeah, no, I'll be here. I might be slightly less coherent, but I'll definitely be here at some point, and I'm pretty sure the boss is going to come down and give me a challenge shortly. I expect he'll want to race or something, but I'll see what I can muster up.
All the best.
All right, cheers, mate. The reason I joined the Royal Air Force, I was at university and I'd been doing a lot of rowing actually for Oxford Brookes, and once I'd got to the kind of the point where I needed to decide, you know, I need to get on and choose a job now, I picked two things, and one was a stuntman and the other one was flying in jets. It turns out that flying to the Air Force came up a little bit quicker and was, to be honest with you, a lot more secure and, to be fair, a very rewarding career over trying to get into something like being a stuntman, which was very kind of ambiguous at least.
Those who want to work out the maths on that, 126 kilometres is like 3 marathons back to back.
It's just really about mental endurance, I think. It's stuff that I've picked up from work, going through training, through some of my training with the Air Force, and some of our survival training particularly picks up things like mental endurance and the capacity to keep going when really you just want to stop. I've also had training experience in the past with rowing that's related back to that, so I'm not totally adverse to a bit of endurance work. I pressed on for the 12 hours, and at the end of the 12 hours I managed to row just over 126,000 litres, which is just over 3 marathons back to back. If there's anyone interested in sponsoring us for the Atlantic Rowing Race campaign, then you can look onto Facebook, and we've got a page called Facebook Atlantic Row Race. Our kind of scheme there is just to sell places on the boat that we put people's faces onto, and then our aim is to row the Atlantic with tens of thousands of people's pictures also rowing across, so you kind of get to be a bit of part of history. We're still looking for key sponsors commercially, as well as personal donations and stuff like that. So if you know anybody out there who's interested in doing such a thing, then please get in touch. And if nothing else, then just type in Alex Stewart rowing and the Atlantic Ocean Row Race into Google, and you'll be able to find my contact details from there. At the end, it felt good, to be honest. Hitting the 100-kilometre barrier was a really good motivational boost, and then after that, when I got to finish, I was happy. I was exhausted but fairly elated, and had a pretty good rest that night.